Hey, Mrs. Volink here. Going to make a little video here on factoring polynomials, really trinomials, that have a leading coefficient that is not equal to 1. Okay, so you learn how to factor polynomials. You do this, you do it in Algebra 1, you probably do it in Algebra 2, and yeah, you're good. But you know, you get those ones where the leading coefficient is not 1, and they get a little more challenging, right? So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So in Algebra 1, you're like, oh, x squared plus x plus 6. You can factor that. I call it making a butt. There's your butt. You put your numbers in it, and you're good. You know, x plus 3 minus 2. Oh, let's make this negative 6. It'll work. But then you start getting into problems where this is not 1, where you have like a 6 in front and some other number in the back. Okay, and it gets a little messy. And a lot of textbooks will tell you to, you know, trial and error, make lists and tables, and way too much work. What I'm going to show you is a method I have called butt on a bench. And the reason it's called butt on a bench is because literally it looks like a butt. And that comes from the two binomials you're going to be getting. And it's going to sit on a bench. And there's going to be something underneath the bench called a magic number. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to set up butt on a bench. And it will make your life easier, especially if you're factoring trinomials that do not have a leading coefficient of 1. Okay, so here, example for you. Ta-da! When I have an example, I just want to make sure it's something that's good, it's cleaned out, it's ready, because it's already in descending order. Meaning this polynomial is ready to be factored. So let's start with the butt on the bench method. Okay, to start butt on a bench, make yourself a butt sitting on a bench. Okay, you need a magic number. Magic number in this case is going to be the leading coefficient. Our leading coefficient is 6. Now remember, your polynomial has to be in descending order from highest power to lowest power. So make sure you get it in the correct order first, and then you're going to use that leading coefficient as your magic number. So this is now your magic number. Okay, so 6 is your magic number. What you're going to do is you're going to put your magic number in the butt on the bench. Okay, so it's going to work like this. We're going to put 6x, and I'm using x because x is the variable, and eventually my answers will have x's in them, and just a 6 on the bottom. So you start butt on a bench, get your magic number. Magic number goes in the butt on the left, and just put a 6 on the bottom. Okay, now the next step of magic number is you multiply your 6 by your constant term. So we're going to take 6 and we're going to multiply it by -2. When we do that, we get a -12. Now, what's great about this, and it looks like I'm going to make a list, but I'm going to make a much shorter list than trial and error will ever give you, kiddies. So if I have a -12 and I need to make a +1 at the same time, I'm going to use the same middle term. And that's why it gets easier to do butt on a bench, because you're not trying to balance the front and the back. So 6 times a -2 gave us a -12. I need factors of -12 that also make a +1. Well, I know that would be 4 and -3. If I multiply 4 and -3, I would get a -12. If I added 4 and 3, I would get a +1. And those are the numbers that are going to go on the bench, okay? So since I have 4 and 3, this becomes +4 minus 3. All right, you're almost there, guys. The next step in butt on the bench is that you have to factor, okay? Here's what I mean. Factor out everything you possibly can. Out of the first binomial here, I can take a 2 out, and I would have 3x plus 2. And then in my second binomial, I'm going to factor out a 3, and I'm going to have 2x minus 1, right? And I still have a 6 on the bottom. Now, your eyeballs are probably going, yeah, so? Well, guess what? Everything factors out. Isn't that nice? Take a look here. You've got a 2, a 3, and if you were to multiply that 2 and 3, you would get a 6, wouldn't you? So that means 2 times 3 is equal to 6. Those cancel, and ideally when you do butt on the bench, the bottom number, the magic number on the bottom, is going to cancel out, okay? So I've got 3x plus 2 times 2x minus 1. That is a factored trinomial using butt on the bench, much easier method than trial and error. If you don't believe me, go ahead and FOIL this back out, and we will see if we're correct. So I've got a 6x squared minus 3x plus 4x minus 2. So 6x squared plus x minus 2. It matches factored completely. Ta-da! All right, if that went way too fast for you and you missed butt on the bench, I've got another example for you. Ha-ha! So let's try another one. Okay, so steps are descending order. We're good. So this polynomial is all ready to go, this trinomial. Magic number is 4, right? Let's make our butt on the bench. So there's our butt sitting on a bench, and it's going to have 4x, and 4 there, okay? Next step of butt on a bench or magic number is to multiply the leading coefficient, your magic number, by the back number, okay? And we got 4 times 12, that's a 48. All right, so now let's figure out factors of 48 that also give me a -19. At first thought in your head, you're like, oh man, that doesn't work, but think about it. 16 times 3 is also 48, right guys? All right, so I need to make a +48 and a -19 at the same time. So that's going to be -16 times a negative 3. And if you didn't know that one, you know, trial and error would have gotten you that one, but 8 times 6 doesn't work clearly, so you would have figured out that it had to be a 16 and a 3. And these should work, unless it's something that can't be factored. All right, so I got a negative 16 and a negative 3, so I'm going to put those in here. Those are my factors that are going to go onto the right side of the butt cheeks here. And now I'm going to factor, right? Out of the first term, I can take out a 4, and I've got x minus 4. Out of the back term, I can't take anything else. I'm just going to leave it like this. And conveniently enough, look at that, the 4s are going to cancel. So this trinomial factored is x minus 4, 4x minus 3. Thanks for stopping by and watching Butt on a Bench. That's how everyone should be factoring trinomials without a leading coefficient of 1. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.